You're listening to the sound of Adam Brisbane on guitar in the background. Sorry I got your name wrong before. I saw it over 100 times on Facebook and still read it as Brisbane. But it's Adam Brisbane, aka A-Bomb, aka Ghost Person, aka the King of Earth. I also want to apologize, first of all. You seemed a bit offended that I referred to you as a megalomaniac. And
Oh no, it's to be expected.
that was slightly in jest, although I do think you're a megalomaniac.
The more full of myself I can sound,
Yeah. You also expressed some concern about my referring to you as a conspiracy theorist. I just want you to know that I consider myself a conspiracy theorist, and obviously there's a lot of stigma around that term. I just mean it as someone who believes that there are covert forces out there conspiring against the masses.
It's harmless by definition. It's just a multitude of people conspiring to do something and a common agenda, and you can come up with theories for anything. I just like to talk. I'll just talk about whatever the hell I feel like, I guess, that at that given moment that day or whatever.
Right. I didn't mean it in a negative way. And when some people hear that term, they may make judgments based on it, and no one wants to be labeled as one certain thing. So I'm sorry. I'll try to be more careful about that in the future.
Yeah, it does have a stigma attached to it, and you already have a portion of the population that has a prejudice towards the label of a conspiracy theorist. I want to embrace those people, of course, rather than just being out of the box, someone that they can't listen to. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I definitely don't want to alienate the audience from you. Although, on that note, I will say that when I originally asked you to do this show, I didn't necessarily think that the audience would completely identify with you. It was based on a lot of your posts on Facebook that I found to be very audacious and entertaining in that way. Declaring yourself the king of Earth, things like that. Although after the hours of footage that you've sent me, I do feel like I know you a little bit more. But there are definitely a lot of questions I still have that I want to ask you.
Oh, if you might not understand it yet, just imagine that there was a situation on planet Earth where star visitors needed the permission of our planet to shoot down our nuclear missiles. And someone had to step up to the plate and give them permission to shoot down an intercontinental ballistic missile. And that they have a policy where they don't want to interfere with our planet's evolution, and they don't want to interfere with our agendas. But if somebody came out into the forefront and gave them permission to shoot it down, then they would have the capacity to do that. Which, if you take a look at what the military will say and whatnot, they will admit that yes, star visitors have shot down our missiles, and you can figure that out if you look into it.
I haven't heard about that actually, but that is interesting. You mentioned star visitors a lot. What exactly is a star visitor?
Well, it's really ambiguous because I don't even know who they are yet. All I can say is that we're being visited, and they can read my mind, and it's like they can place thoughts in your head so that you will think about certain thoughts, And the ones that I have seen are mostly, it's like they're not even physically there. You just see a light. So like light orbs are usually the things that I bring into the picture. Like it's basically you can just sit there and think. You don't even have to say anything. You don't have to like put your hands in the air like it's a big prayer or anything like that. But you're basically just asking them to show themselves, not even knowing who they are. I don't know what to call them yet. I'll call them UFOs. I will call them orbs. I call them orbs.
All right, so you refer to yourself as the king of Earth, and that's not just a joke, right? What do you actually mean by that?
In an instant, I realized that somebody would have to declare themselves king of Earth in order to grant them permission to shoot down our missiles.
And how did you realize this?
It's just a sudden knowing. You just know. Like, I can't really, it's not like there's a voice talking to me, like, that I can hear.
Right, I get it. So when was this? When did this happen?
This was back in 2008.
So basically you just instantly knew that someone on Earth needed to declare themselves the king, and that was you, and you simultaneously gave them permission to shoot down ballistic missiles.
Yeah, it was all just mental, like, and I mean I can talk about it now, like no one has to believe me or anything. But I can tell you now, like I will talk about it. I will go out on a limb and say, hey guys, we need to consolidate all our military so we don't blow each other up, and we got to take it easy on our national pride and everything like that. I will say that, if not redundantly.
So I've had experiences in my life, normally under the influence of psychedelics, when I felt like I was the center of the universe and there was a huge conspiracy surrounding me, and I was the Messiah and the Antichrist, and communicating with aliens that were asking me whether or not they should blow up the planet. The thing is, I know that that is something that happens to lots of people. It's called a Messiah complex. Do you really think that the fate of the world hinges on you and only you? What makes you so special?
The world revolves around me, and it will show me little symbols and signs. Like, it's bizarre. Like,
yeah, but that happens to lots of people. They see symbols. It's happened to me, where you think you see symbols and signs everywhere, and that someone or something is communicating directly with you.
whoever they are, they're just looking for the guy to talk about these key issues that they want to be heard. And I can be like a voice box for them and point people in the right direction. Like, there are people out there that could have stopped 9/11. Like, I am one of them. I had all these rushes of ideas to stop 9/11 before it happened. I will talk about the UFO on 9/11. I will talk about the thing that everyone is afraid to talk about because they're afraid to lose their credibility. I will talk about how it was floating over a plume of smoke from the base of the building, when in the official story, the planes brought the towers down.
So I definitely think there was something fishy going on at 9/11, although I looked at your video and I could not see anything. I could not see any UFO.
It was a little white glowing disc just hovering to the left of the building, hovering over the plume of smoke coming from the base of the building. Whether or not you even see the UFO is irrelevant because that plume of smoke shouldn't have even been there.
I'm just saying that maybe the reason, even though you got millions of views on YouTube, you didn't get much of a response from people is that when I saw the video, I saw this tiny little dot that didn't look like anything necessarily.
I have seen video footage of a UFO on 9/11, if not more than one, from like 7 different angles around New York City that day. So from like several different cameras, you can see the same UFO, and it's on the news. It's on private footage. It is there. It's a white glowing disc, and I've seen those myself. I was waiting on the job site for my dad to do electrical work one day, and I was thinking how cool it would be if they would show themselves, and yeah, there's a white glowing disc that comes out of the clouds, and I pointed out to the guy working concrete, the Mexican dude, and he sees it too. It's not I'm not totally delusional because I have got other people to see the UFOs that I have summoned.
Could you just look out your window right now and summon a UFO if you wanted to?
Well, it's not exactly that easy, but what I can tell you is I think almost anyone can do it. I mean, if I can do it, I think other people can do it. There's at least 7 of us doing it.
Like, I just tried to do it and nothing happened.
Well, see, you got to wait around for like 20 minutes scanning the sky. Like they don't just, it's not like they come at our beck and call. It's more like if they want to show up, they will, and you can just keep trying and you might get lucky. It's more like fishing.
Cool. So one thing I wanted to ask you about is you talk about a lot of conspiracies, gray aliens, government agencies that are after you to some degree. What surprises me is that you don't seem scared or paranoid. You seem relatively calm. Is that the case?
There was a time when I was really paranoid because, I mean, I would see lasers come through my window and stuff like that. But anymore, I am on the side of the good guys. That's all I can say. I'm not as paranoid. You know, what we need to fear is corporations taking over the world and taking over our big militaries. See what I'm saying? We don't want the corporate world to trump the leadership of the stability of our actual main military forces.
Right. Talking about stuff like that, it brings up another thought that I've had when it comes to you and the hours of stuff that you've sent me, which most I'm not going to air because, like you said yourself, you addressed it. We can't focus so much on the doom and gloom without some positive solutions. And if this show were going out to a huge section of the voting population or people in power of corporations or politics, I would feel differently. But this is an entertainment show for a small audience. There are certain things that you mentioned that I am going to air, like the fluoride problem, because there is a solution to that, which is obviously don't buy the toothpaste with it and filter your water. But a lot of it I'm just not going to air because I don't feel like the radio show is the forum for it. And besides that, I assume that most of my listeners are enlightened to some degree, and I've had times in my life where I was very interested in that sort of thing, but it gets to be just depressing after a while. I think maybe you should have your own radio show where you can really go into depth about a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, I've done that before. Anyway, like I was saying, if you only focus on the your focus is really important because it's like the news. If you're pumping out all these horrid stories, of course you want to know that there's some kind of catastrophe just south of you, like the nuclear power plants in South Carolina. But if you let this stuff consume your day and stress you out all the time, it's going to make you unhealthy. So yeah, we do want entertainment. I mean, like,
Yeah. So, on to more entertaining subject matter. You say that you can stop time. What do you mean by that?
I just did it.
Yeah, but you actually say that you can stop time. You're not just joking, right? You actually believe that.
Well, I was talking about the realization that your entire life is an illusion,
Right.
and you will start to see funny things when you start thinking like that.
Right.
You
I understand the whole notion of space and time being an illusion and that, but you are a human that's along with the rest of us in the illusion of
well,
space and time, right?
sometimes you can see the future if you start thinking more like it's an illusion, and it's pretty bizarre. That's all I can really tell you.
All right. So you said that there was a time where you were asking billionaires for money so that you could raise $2 million with which you would save the world. What exactly would you do with $2 million?
Well, I would make prototype magnetic generators, and I would recreate the Searle effect generator, and I would I would basically try to mass produce, at least get into a position where I could mass produce this, so that we will no longer have this argument about how we need nuclear reactors anymore, and the grid itself.
And you mentioned a girl that you met who incidentally could speak to dogs and have them speak back to her in English, who offered you $1 million along with her brother who also
No,
had $1 million.
no, I'm not.
What?
She wasn't offering it to me. I just went on a date with the girl, and I thought it was ironic that I was asking all these billionaires for $2 million, and then my next date, they have $2 million. Like, I'm like, what the? And it's like, am I supposed to like get good with them to like make the magnetic generator? And I just thought it was ironic. Her dad was like with the EPA, and he would have probably. Is this like his dying wish that he wants me to make the magnetic generator? You're like,
So it didn't work out with the girl or what?
no, it's just up in the air. We'll just see. Like she said maybe she'll come and kidnap me again.
So speaking of being able to communicate with dogs, you talk about your cat being able to see things that you can't see.
Well, yeah, cats are sensitive to, and people might say this about their dogs as well. If a certain person walks into your house, they can tell if it's like a good person or a bad person. If you're really close to your animals, you can kind of tell, and they can pick up on other things too, like that aren't even there that you can't even see. So it's kind of cool to have them around.
I've seen a lot of cats looking at stuff in the air like they're watching invisible bugs flying around.
Well, there are things that we can't see unless we take photos. Like, have you ever seen the orbs and all these photos? Uh, and you hear that people write them off as dust particles, and that's their best explanation for it. They're not dust particles, man. Like, I've had like orbs that are like bright white. Like, I talked to my mom about this, and I was like, "Hey, mom, if I take this picture of you, there is going to be a orb right next to you." And we went outside, and I was like, let's just try it, because I think there's going to be one.
How did you know that there was going to be an orb?
Well, I'd been taking pictures, and they hang out around cemeteries, and they hang out when people are having a good time. So if you're like at a party, you'll notice like there's these pictures where there's orbs all around. It's like when people are in high spirits, there will be orbs all over the place.
What are the orbs, though?
You get all kinds of explanations, from the New Age crowd. Like, people will say that they are spirits of the dead and whatnot. It's really hard to say. I can't tell you.
Yeah, I want to take some photos the next time I see a cat looking at something invisible in the air. Anyway, you say, if you kill me, the aliens will attack. What are you talking about?
So we've been contaminating the earth, and the Greys, they can't wait to jump all over it at a turning point where it's like, well, there's no longer a voice to steer the fate of planet Earth in a good direction, in a direction where Earth is sustainable, where we no longer have contamination. So if my voice is silenced, and they drop me from the face of the earth, they know that we're going to contaminate the earth more and more and more, and until earth is uninhabitable for them as well as us. And they will step in, and they will do their thing. People will disappear. They will take over.
So you're saying that if you get hit by a car tomorrow and die, then it's all over for Earth. The aliens are going to attack us.
I think Earth's only hope. It's sad, man.
Okay. Well, this makes me wonder what you think about a higher power beyond aliens. Is there such a thing as a god in your view?
When it comes to the God word, I always say that everything is God. And in the end, I get to decide whether...
Why you?
Whether we all live or die.
Why you, though? What makes you the one?
Because I am alive.
I'm alive? It just seems like, what makes you so special? Was it the time and place that you were born? Is it your genetics? Why you?
Okay, if you take a look at like the 13 bloodlines and all that stuff, the bloodlines of the Illuminati, what they're asking for is they're shooting for the unification of all mankind. It's like a there is a turning point when there is that one person who can make the new world order actually happen for everybody. And I don't have to be from one of those bloodlines per se. I just have to know that I am royalty. I from God.
Yeah, that brings me to my favorite conspiracy theory, which is that the New World Order, as is commonly talked about in conspiracy theory circles, is actually not such a dark and evil idea. It could be a very good thing, a secret conspiracy which is working towards a better, more harmonious, peaceful world rather than a 1984 Philip K. Dick scenario.
They created that contrast for me so that I could unveil them. So it's not as insidious as it could be. Now, you could hijack the New World Order and take it from me, and then it will be in the wrong hands. That's all I can say there. It has the potential to be insidious, but that is only if I am destroyed and they hijack the New World Order from me. And what do I want to do with it? I want to unify all the nations. It's pretty simple. I just want peace on earth, and I want stability. I want environmental stability, and I want everyone to feel secure and at home, and to quit being so paranoid of their next door neighbor, you know. So there has to be order out of chaos. The world as it is now is the chaos. I am the order.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on the reptilian beings that are supposedly infiltrating high places in the government, etc.?
So supposedly we have these guys that can shapeshift, and they devour humans and human sacrifice, and it's pretty bizarre. Let's just say that they're real, okay? We have reptilian shapeshifters that are dominantly physical. What we do as humans versus a dominant physical superpower in the universe is we lose mass density in our evolution. So we become impervious to physical attack. And that's the direction that we want to go as human beings. And to do that, I'm telling you that we need to be closer as couples, and we need to basically slough off all that fear that consumes us. And we have to have higher vibration.
And what about December 21st? It's December 6th right now. December 21st is the supposed end of the Mayan calendar. What do you think is going to happen?
It's another day. we can drag it into the ground together, or we can have it be a new day. We can make it a pivotal turning point in history. And if you want to look at the fear angle of it, yes, we could all annihilate each other with nuclear weapons, or we could pass through galactic center and have 3 days of darkness, or it will just be another day.
What about, isn't it supposedly a planetary alignment where there's going to possibly be a magnetic polar shift? I don't even know if that's true. You read so much about it.
Yes, I've read about what supposedly the Greys are saying would happen in a polar shift. That the oceans would consume the mainland and earthquakes would be so severe that the ground would shoot up 20 feet in the air in places and whatnot. What I will tell you is that we should prepare for such a drastic world as that. It is only intelligent for us to want to survive. It will be survival of the fittest when it comes to Mother Nature. And the sun will eventually fry planet Earth. And that's why we need to focus on the space race instead of killing each other and our differences. We need to come together, and we need to have a way off of this planet. When things get hairy, we really do need to have that happen, and we have to focus on space travel technology. And the only way that we're going to have it in a timely fashion is if we set a good example to these star visitors, and if we stop all our wars and we come together under a common hand.
All right, so what's the best place for people to find you online?
Just my Facebook, facebook.com/Atom Brisbane.
ATOMBRISBINE.
Yeah.
All right, thanks a lot for doing this.
All right.
Talk to you later.
Peace out.